19. Could I please have roll call?
Councilmember Abdelgawad.
Here.
Councilmember Barber.
Present.
Councilmember Berenson.
Present.
Councilmember Burke.
Present.
Councilmember Circo.
Present.
Councilmember Holman.
Present.
Councilmember Kellogg absent. Councilmember Townsend.
Present.
Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is presentation and awards. We don't have any awards tonight, but we do have a presentation from Harriet Lawrence, our new chair of the Art Commission. Harriet?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. On behalf of my fellow commissioners, Bob Berry, Pat Setzer, Lauren Jones, and who am I leaving out? Bob Berry. Did I leave out Sharon? Sharon Paris. I want to assure you on all our behalfs that we will continue another year of promoting the arts in Raymore. We have our Public Art Committee ongoing. We have at least one other public art piece just about ready to go. We will continue presenting educational classes and workshops. And this year we're adding a Performance Art Committee, going to take advantage of the wonderful venues of Centerview and the great amphitheater at Hawk Ridge, and be doing some planning to do some perhaps theater, certainly music, films possibly, but these two venues sort of open up a lot of possibilities for us. We also hope to multiply the generous budget that you all give to us every year by bringing in money through the foundation, through the 501c3 status, and we have opportunities through the NEA and the Missouri Arts Council to perhaps multiply some of our funds. I hope that tonight you will approve the 2 new members of our commission, because we need all 7 of us to get that big a job done. But we all know that the real heavy lifters in all of this are the staff that support us, the incomparable Mike Eakey, who isn't here tonight, so I can't embarrass him. But I do want to recognize the creative and very energetic Melissa McGee, who, by the way, has curated the exhibit that you see before you in the back of the room. This is just open tonight, and Melissa did a great job of soliciting from members of volunteer organizations such as the Arts Commission, as well as city staff. And you will see on the back, in the back of the room, 14 artists, local artists, and 20 different art pieces. I think one of the things that's really interesting, in addition to the diversity of the media in the exhibit, are the relationships there. I mean, there's some married couple people represented. There's some father-sons, mother-sons represented. So I think it sort of speaks to sort of the sense of what Raymore is all about. We are a family community, and the art exhibit speaks to all of that. So enjoy all of that for the next few months. The next exhibit will be the student art exhibit from the Tri-County exhibition. And thank you all for your creation of the Arts Commission and for your ongoing support. Thank you.
Anybody have any comments or questions for Harriet? None? Okay. Well, we'll go to personal appearances. We don't have any personal appearances, so we'll go, brings us to staff reports. So I'll turn that over to Chief Zimmerman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. You find in your packet the status of capital improvements and monthly financial report. In addition to that, there is a written report in your packet from Mr. Mustine for Parks and Recreation, as he, Mr. Rulo, and Mr. McLean are attending the National Parks and Recreation Annual Conference in Indianapolis, so he will not be here. I would like to ask Mr. Crass to make a report for Public Works.
Thank you, Chief Zimmerman. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, just update you on a couple of projects that are still ongoing. The Paver Crosswalk project, they are currently working on the intersection of Sunset and 58, and then they will be moving to Skyline, and then that will wrap up that project for this year. Hawkridge Park is moving forward fairly rapidly. If you've had a chance to be out there, you can see the amphitheater site has been graded, the south restroom site has been graded. They are starting to rough in the pathway. They poured the foundations today for the fishing pier. We believe that may be scheduled for delivery later next week. So we are still on schedule to wrap things up after the first of the year. That concludes my staff report.
Any questions? Mr. Holman?
Mr. Krass, the permeable paver projects that are going on, especially the ones connected to 58 from side streets. Got a question the other day. Park Drive to the south side, I'm sorry, to the north side, there's no way in and out of there if we do that project. Is that still, at some point, is that a possibility of doing that? Is there some way to do half at a time, or is that just one that we can't do because they have no access out of the neighborhood?
That is one that we can't. Unfortunately, the way it needs to be constructed, we cannot do one half at a time. There are some other things we are looking at, maybe not such the permeable pavers, but in the next week or so, you'll see a crosswalk for Centerview that's more of a epoxy type application, so it's decorative. So that may have some applications. It's supposed to stand up to traffic. We may try that across 58. It goes down fairly fast, but we're going to see how it performs out here first.
Good to hear, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to ask what did Ms. Lawrence call her, the incomparable Melissa McGee, to come forward and make a communications report.
Thank you, and good evening. Communications Director Mike Icky and I were both guests on Foxwood Springs FSTV morning television show last week. Mr. Icky on Monday, and he discussed the community conversation that's coming up. I was the guest on Tuesday morning, and I pretty much talked about every upcoming event the city has on our calendar. I also was happy to drive the float for several members of City Council at the parade on Saturday for the Raymore Fall Festival, or Festival in the Park. Mr. Icky and I continue to promote and prepare for the October 1st community conversation at Centerview. And Mike and I, along with the Raymore Arts Commission members and Animal Control, are preparing for the upcoming Pop Art Your Pet painting fundraiser. It will be on October 11th at Centerview. Participants get to paint a fun pop art version of their pet to take home, and the shelter gets $15 for every ticket sold. So this will be a great, easy and fast way to bring in some much needed funds for our animal shelter. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay.
The only other information I have, and Melissa just touched on it, a reminder to everyone in the community conversation, October the 1st, a week from tonight at Centerview. The doors will open across the street at 5:30 and we'll start promptly at 6. So we encourage everyone to come out and talk about their vision for the future of Raymore on October the 1st. And that's all we have, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We don't have any committee reports. So we'll move to our consent agenda, and we have a lengthy consent agenda tonight. We've got 9 items. So I'd entertain a motion to dispose of all or part of the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Holman?
Thank you, sir. As allowed by council rules, I would request to have item D removed and separated and voted on after the motion I'm about to make for the majority of the consent agenda, and I will explain my reasons as I recuse myself at the end of the first vote, if that's okay. I would move at this time, sir, to approve the consent agenda to include item A, City Council minutes for the September 10th, 2018 meeting. Item B, 2017 stormwater improvements, acceptance and final payment. Item C, Raymore Activity Center, acceptance. Item E, reappointment of William Rust to the Raymore Tree Board. Item F, appointment of Laura Richardson to the Ward 2 Arts Commission seat. Item G, appointment of James Gribble to the Ward 4 Arts Commission seat. Item H, acceptance of public improvements Westbrook 14th plat. Item I, appointment of Kevin Barber to the Raymore TDD.
Second.
We have a motion to include items A through C and E through I, and we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Looks like it passes, 7 yes and 1 absent. Okay, I would ask for a motion to approve item D of the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, at this time I will be recusing myself from the council and stepping down from the dais as I have for all other discussion and votes on this issue, as I am currently am a homeowner and member of the Herald Estates Homeowners Association. As Mr. Zur has pointed out to me, there is the possibility of a pecuniary interest in this, so it is in the best interest of the city that I step down for the vote on this item.
Your excuse, Mr. Holman.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve item D from the consent agenda, Herald Estates lift station acceptance.
Second.
We have a motion for item D and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes, 6 yes, 1 absent, and 1 abstaining. Yeah, we made it through that. That brings us to unfinished business. Could I have the second read of Bill 3389 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3389 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with J.R. and Company, Inc. for the Public Works Facility roof, City Project Number 18-247-201, in the amount of $192,137.15.
I would entertain a motion to dispose of the second read of Bill 3389. Oh, no, this is, no, yep.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve Bill 3389, award of contract for the Public Works Facility roof.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I will second that.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion passes, 7 yes and 1 absent. Next item is item B of unfinished business. Could I have the second reading of Bill 3390 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3390 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, amending the fiscal year 2018 operating budget.
I would entertain a motion to dispose of the second read of Bill 3390.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve Bill 3390, the budget amendment for fiscal year 2018 operating adjustments.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes, 7 yes, 1 absent. All right, so we're done with our unfinished business. We'll go on to new business. And our first new business is item A. And item A is the liquor license application for El Dorado Mexican Restaurant, which requires a public hearing. I'll go ahead and open a public hearing and ask for a staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I would ask Ms. Warner to give a staff report.
Thank you. Jennifer Armstrong, the owner of HC&R Restaurant LLC, doing business as El Dorado Mexican Restaurant, located at 404 West Pine Street, has filed an application for a 2018-2019 liquor license as a new owner. The applicant has submitted the necessary application and supporting documentations as outlined by City Code. If approved by the City Council, further approval to obtain the license is required from the state of Missouri and their licensing requirements as well. And the applicant is in the audience should council have questions.
Any questions of staff? And I believe the applicant is here. I don't know if they want to come forward or not, but feel free. State your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Armstrong. I am the new owner of HC&R Restaurant, DBA El Dorado Mexican Restaurant. I am a 2005 RAPEC graduate. Some of you look familiar. I'm excited to start this new venture, and obviously continuing a liquor license is a part of our business. We've do a very hard job of following all the rules and regulations and making sure we're following the proper procedures. And we have filled out and applied all the applications, as well as we've gone ahead and done all the state applications, waiting, of course, on this first. But I just wanted to say thank you for considering our application, and I just wanted you all to be able to put a face with my name and with our business, and I hope that you guys will all come and dine there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Good. Don't have any questions? I'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and I'd entertain a motion. Oh, excuse me?
We have the opportunity for individuals from the public to be able to participate.
Anybody from the
before
public would
closing
like
public
to
hearing.
come forward? I didn't see anybody jump up. Okay, I will close the public hearing, and I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve the liquor license application for El Dorado Mexican Restaurant. I guess that's it.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I will second that motion.
We have a motion to approve liquor license application for El Dorado Mexican Restaurant and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes, 7 yes, 1 absence. All right, now, next item of new business is item B. Could I have a reading of Resolution 1854 by title only?
The reading of Resolution 18-54 by title only. A resolution of the City of Raymore, Missouri, confirming the decision to install sidewalks on certain identified undeveloped lots and authorizing city staff to take the necessary steps to have sidewalks installed.
Could I have a staff report?
Thank you, sir. I'd ask Mr. Carteret to give a staff report.
Thank you. At its September 10th meeting, Council held 2 public hearings on those undeveloped lots that met the threshold required to have sidewalk installed by the property owner. Council did vote to include both of those lots on a list to be formally presented this evening for the city to install sidewalk upon those lots. So that formal list is in Resolution 18-54 that's before you this evening. Should Council confirm that the city is to install the sidewalk upon those 2 undeveloped lots, staff will notify the property owners that they have until September 1st of 2019 to either install the sidewalk upon the lot or commence construction of a home upon the lot. If neither of those happen by September 1st of 2019, then the city will install the sidewalk on those lots and levy a special assessment for the cost that we have to install the sidewalk. That concludes staff report, sir.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve Resolution 1854, confirmation of undeveloped lots to have sidewalks installed by the city.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I'll second that motion.
And we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Looks like motion passes, 7 yes and 1 absent. And we're just moving right along. We'll go to item C. It's our last new business. Could I have the first reading of Bill 3391 by title only?
The first reading of Bill 3391 by title only. An ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city manager to enter into an agreement with Huffman Land Surveyors, Inc. to provide on-call surveying services.
Could I have a staff report?
Thank you, sir. I'd ask Mr. Krass to give a staff report on this item.
Thank you, Chief Zimmerman. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, what you have before you this evening is a contract with Huffman Land Surveyors to provide on-call survey services. From time to time, the engineering department has the need for assistance to either prepare easement documents, locate property corners, or gather topographic information to assist us with our design projects. We did follow the city's purchasing policy. We issued an RF request for qualifications. The firms that responded are listed in our staff report, and we do recommend award of the contract to Huffman Land Surveyors. Huffman Land Surveyors has also been working with us for the past 3 years on a prior engagement of this similar contract. That concludes staff report.
Any questions of staff? All right, I would entertain a motion for Bill 3391.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve Bill 3391, award of contract for on-call survey services to Huffman Land Surveyors.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes, 7 yes, 1 absent. Well, we made it through it. That brings us to public comments, part of the agenda tonight. If you'd like to come forward, please identify yourself for the record and keep your comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. All right, nobody, last call, okay. That brings us to mayor council communication. Actually, tonight it's just council and council communication portion. So, you know, I was going to just ask who wanted to talk, but I knew everybody would raise their hand at once. So I'm going to pick Mr. Townsend to go first. Mr. Townsend.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I'll make it real quick tonight. I want to thank Mrs. Harriet Lawrence for the Arts Commission and stepping up to be the chairperson this year. Excellent to see the artwork from the city staff and others out there in their artistic side. I'm sure probably it's therapy for some to kind of wind down from the day and take photos. It's very outstanding to see. Also commend to the Parks and Rec and different organizations that supported the Raymore Festival and the parade this weekend. It was very nice to get out and see everyone who came out and lined the streets for the parade and all the different children that were out, you know, receiving the candy and such. I don't know why I'm still sore for such a short walk, but I am sore behind that. It was surprising, though. It was one of the organizations that I support. We had a booth in the festival, and it was interesting to hear someone who didn't know that the city had a parade or that we had a festival going on. So even though with the signage that's out, that we've had it for years, so maybe we can look at some things to try to help publicize that a little more. Maybe some strategic signs placed throughout the city. But still, it was a good turnout from my vantage point. It was a good turnout to see the different citizens out. Looked like they had a good time. Nice weather this year, so that was great. And also I wanted to say, I believe she's already left this evening, good luck to the, while it's not a final read, but still good luck to the new owner of El Dorado. It's always good to see businesses coming in to the area. Even though it's a change over ownership, they're still a business owner, a resident of the community, so excellent to see. But that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. Mr. Burt?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I wanted to welcome Laura Richardson to the Arts Commission. She's the former head of the Ray-Pec Ray-Pec High School Art Department, and she worked there for 20 years. I think I worked there with her for 19 of them or so. And also wanted to thank Melissa McGee for not driving over any of the council during the parade. There were probably times that it would have been easy to do so as we're running around trying to catch up, but appreciate that. And also I wanted to let the students and the scouts in the audience know this is one of the shortest meetings that you're ever going to have an opportunity to attend. So if you pick tonight to do your work or your work on merit badges, you picked the right time to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Mr. Circo.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Yeah, I can say, can reflect back on the parade. I've done many parades in this city. Run for office for a few different things. I've been here for a long time, and this parade this time with the people that come out, being the weather was really great, but it was multiplied 2 or 3-fold from what I've seen. It was a very good feeling to see all the people and their families out enjoying the parade, and we had a lot of floats, 80-something I think, or it was a magnificent amount of people in the floats and the candy, And it's a good thing to see the city grow and the people at her. So that was really wonderful. And yeah, Melissa did a great job. She didn't run over anybody. That's good for the city, and we appreciate it. She's very cautious. But kudos to all the appointees, because without the appointees, we couldn't get nothing done. They come in and work and do things just because they love the city and they love the whatever it's the arts or whatever it may be. And we thank them and appreciate the business coming in. Whenever you have business in the city, it's always good to grow business. And if business leaves, someone to take over, because the growth of the business as a longtime business owner, and I can speak for a lot of the business owners here, we welcome competition, no matter what it is, restaurants or whatever, because as you grow those and maintain those and grow more, that's what brings your people. We got great police, we got great fire, we got great city, and with that, more business, people love to come here, and I see that constantly. I hear it a lot. And so kudos to this lady, the people coming in and reopening the restaurant, and that's always nice and big for our community. Thank you to the young people out there coming in to see the city council in motion. If you ever have questions, you know, you can always ask any of us. We're always here to help educate and teach, whatever it may be. But again, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Circo. Mr. Holman.
Well, I'd like to start off by congratulating you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, and handling your first meeting in the absence of the mayor tonight. I thought you did an exceptional job. I think they gave you a short list to start, but you handled it very well. I would also like to say good job to Melissa. I wasn't here for the parade this weekend. I'm sure you did an admirable job, but the art display you see behind you was certainly the hard work of the artist, but she's been working on this for a number of weeks. She put the all call out quite some time ago, and then Mike, her only other partner in the communications department, leaves in the middle of it, and so she was kind of left to put all that together for public display tonight, and it looks really nice. I'm really impressed by the variety of mediums across there. You've got photography, you've got pencil drawings, pen and ink, lithographs, and I wanted to mention that there's one back there in the corner that was put up when the artist was inspired by Mr. Burke's story from some weeks ago about President Reagan in a meeting with then Secretary of State Colin Powell. Is that right? So if you get a chance to go look at the lithograph of President Reagan, I would venture to say that that is at least 3 to 4 times older than any of those art pieces on the wall. It's got the date on it. I think they call it an antique. An antique, exactly. The other thing I wanted to say was love to see the Boy Scouts here tonight. We see the Boy Scouts from time to time. Sometimes it's somebody that's here for an Eagle Scout project, but we love to have you in the audience. And then my last mention would be the students in the audience, obviously here for the American Government class. You did really get out. You're going to get out in a little less than 35 minutes, which is pretty good because some people are here still taking notes some 2 hours later. So good luck on your project and your work when you turn it in. And if you need any cliff notes on that, you can come up and see Councilmember Barber after the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Holman. Ms. Abdel-Gawad.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I'll echo the thanks to Melissa for helping take care of us during the parade and keep us safe and providing us all the signs and the candy and all the stuff we needed for the parade. I really enjoyed walking the parade route and seeing everyone that came out to the parade. It's great to see the faces of the people that we represent up here every week. In conjunction with that, I want to thank the Festival and the Park Committee. The festival is put on every year, not by the city, but by a committee of people who volunteer to do that for our city. Our Festival and the Park Committee, they do an incredible job every year and oftentimes go unnoticed. If you were at the festival and saw them in their red shirts, there's a group of them, I don't know how many, but they always do a fabulous job. And also a big thanks to the police department and city staff who were out there on Saturday, working with the Festival and the Park Committee on our Community Against Crime and with our booth about watershed and keeping the water as clean as we can as it goes into the storm sewers in the city. So a whole bunch of people worked together to make that weekend, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, a success and an enjoyable time for the people in our city. So if you see any of those people, give them a pat on the back, and I just wanted to tell them thanks. The art in the city council chambers, I have to give a shout out to my daughter. My daughter's one of the ones that has 2 pieces of art back there on the wall. She's 13. She's been painting just for fun, and gets really excited to see that other people enjoy her artwork as much as she enjoys doing the art. So I'll have to be sure I invite people to come up and take a peek at her art. And then 2 more little things, just a reminder about the community conversation next Monday, October 1st. The doors open at 5:30. The conversation starts at 6. We'd like to have the house packed. It's across the street at Centerview. And then also tomorrow evening, Mr. Berenson and I will be at the farmer's market. We've got some goodies to hand out. We look forward to talking to people. So if you haven't been to the farmer's market lately, or if you have, stop by and see us tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Abdelgawad. Mr. Berenson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I will also thank Harriet Lawrence for coming out tonight, who's heading up our Arts Council, and also say a quick congratulations to the new 2 appointed Arts Commissioners and the reappointment to the gentleman from the Tree Board. I forgot to mention this at the last meeting, but I've read and I've heard quite a few comments and a lot of thank yous. Very happy to see the buildings get torn down on 58 by the post office. It looks so much better now. So hopefully we'll find something soon that's suitable to go in that area that fits the neighborhood. Also want to thank Melissa again. Great time at the parade. I know you probably bought 2 or 3 times as much candy as we had last year, and we still ran out, and that's due in probably 2 reasons. We had a phenomenal crowd, and I think early on a couple of us were making it rain with candy a little more than we should have, and so we didn't quite have enough at the end, but we had a great time, and everybody had fun with that. And Festival in the Park was a great time. I went out and checked that out with the kids, sat through the whole movie. I noticed, as always, the beer sales went really well. I made a couple trips to the beer tent just to check on things, and each time I was there, it seemed like it was going very well. So thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Berenson. Oh, well, when you go last, there's really nothing to say, too much to say. I would concur with everything that was said tonight. I have a few people to thank tonight. I got to thank Ms. Warner for helping me move through the agenda tonight. I had a couple of questions, and she was awesome in answering them, and she called me back, and she's the real reason it went smooth. I wanted to, again, thank Melissa McGee for putting everything together for the parade. I have to say it was much better than last year. We had more candy. We actually had a truck. We had signage. We had, I mean, it was really nice. But really, the credit for that parade really needs to go to Ms. Abdelgawad, because if you remember 3 years ago, you wanted to do a parade and we couldn't pull it together. And we finally got it together last year, and we got it together this year. I have to say I'm not a parade person. I don't really like to watch them. But I realized this year, what a great way to get our town together. We absolutely got a whole bunch of people together at one place. We don't have a main street, we don't have that, but we can have a parade. And what's neat about our parade too is it actually goes through our neighborhoods. We get to see our neighborhoods. We got some beautiful neighborhoods. I mean, some of those neighborhoods you wouldn't normally go through unless you were in the parade. So I was really, I'm now a parade person. Thank you, Ms. Abdelgawad, because I think we should have more of them. It really brings people together. It brought a lot of people from out of town. I asked a lot of people where you were from, and it's amazing how many people did come from out of town just to come to our parade. So again, thank you for that. I want to thank the citizens volunteers. We can't run this city without you, and they're an important part of everything that we do. I was going to mention the farmers market, but you mentioned that too. Mr. Holman and I were there last week, and you know it's actually a good time. It's not going to be a big crowd, but you get a lot of opportunity to talk to some people. And Mr. Holman and I, we did great, and we actually scored a couple of watermelons that were pretty cheap too, which was real neat too. So just give you a heads up on that. So really that's all I've got to say tonight. We don't have any reason to go in executive session, do we?
No, sir, we don't.
So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn tonight's city council meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion.
We've got a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor to adjourn? We're adjourned. Thank you.